you just step a bit closer so that you can see? Perfect. Loving Sai Rams and Sri Matre Namaha to all present on Navratri day 8, but day 7 in terms of the consecutive days, but day 8 according to the Vedic calendar. Today, our main ritual will be some stories accompanied by some bhajans. But before that, we will get started with Pancha Puja to Ganapati and the Devi. So for those who are following that up, who have been following on from home, this is the time to get all the Pancha Puja materials ready. But before that, I ask everyone, let us take our heart and mind to our Guru, to the loving Mother, as we ask for their guidance and for them to oversee the puja we will be doing so that it happens all smoothly and without fail. I'm Hrim Shrim, I'm Klim So, Sajva Soham, Asakafem, Sakshamalavarayum, Sakam Sakshamalavarayim, Saho, Swarupanirupanane, the Vis, Vagurve, Shanapurnaka Sahita, Shamritanandanatha, Sri Guru Sri Padakam Putyantapya, Namaha. I'm Hrim Shrim, I'm Klim So, Sajva Soham, Asakafem, Sakshamalavarayum, Sakam Sakshamalavarayim, Saho, Swarupanirupanane, the Vis, Vagurve, Shanapurnaka Sahita, Shamritanandanatha Shri Guru Shri Padakam Putyami Tapyami Namaha. Om Sa Ishvaraya Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarvah Prachodayat. Om Sa Ishvaraya Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarvah Prachodayat. We will now begin Panchapuchar to Mahaganapati. So first we'll offer sandal Upacara, Chandan. First we offer sandalwood powder. Om Shrim Hrim Klim Ganapati Varavada Sarvajanam Me Vishmanya Swaha Gandham Samarpayami Namaha Kumkum. Om Shrim Hrim Klim Ganapati Varavada Sarvajanam Me Vishmanya Swaha Haridra Kumkumani Samarpayami Namaha. Flowers. Om and if you've got a flower garland or mala, you can also offer this at this time. Om Shri Hri Klim Glam Glam Ganapati Varavada Sarvajanam Me Vishmanya Swaha Pushpahi Pujyami Namaha. Dhupam, incense. Om Shri Hri Klim Glam Glam Ganapati Varavada Sarvajanam Me Vishmanya Swaha Dhupam Agrapayami Namaha. Om Dhurasti Dhurvatam Dhurvatam Dhurva Dhurvatam Dhurvayam Vayam Dhurvamasvam Dhupam Agrapayami Namaha. Next we will offer Deepam. So everybody can show, we will light the Deepam and then offer the Deepam. So when we light the Deepam, we will offer some kumkum and then we will also offer a red flower. If you don't have red flower, that's completely fine. You can offer any dot flower. Deepa Devi Mahadevi Shubham Bhavatu Me Sada Navat Puja Samapti Syata Vatam Prakasishthir Bhavaha. Deepa Devi Ai Namaha. Deepa Lakshmi Ai Namaha. Shreem, Deem, Droom, Shloom, Noom, Bloom, Noom, Hreem, Shreem. Everyone can show the Deepam to Ganapati. So we hold our hands like this, ring finger and thumb together. And then you see the Deepam, it's as if you take it up and you go around him. Om Shri Hrim Klim Glam Gam Ganapati Pravarta Sarvajanam Me Vishmaya Swaha Deepam Darshayami Namaha Om Ayurdehi Dhanam Dehi Vidyam Dehi Maheshwari Smakilam Dehi Dehi Me Parameshwari Deepam Darshayami Namaha. Now we'll have our Naivedyam, which is food or prasadam. I think we offer this one to the goddess. Om Shrim Hrim Klim Gam Gam Ganapati Pravarta Sarvajanam Me Vishmaya Swaha Naivedyam Nivedayami Namaha Om Bhurva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargao Devasya Dhimi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Paro Rajasi Savadom Om Apo Jyotirasam Brahma Bhurva Svarom Deva Savita Prasuva Amritamastu Amritapatarnamasi Satyam Tartena Prasinchami. Now everyone can follow Roshni Amma as she shows the mudras for feeding Ganapati. Om Pranaya Svaha. And we cover our mouth and nose with our left hand because the gods consume food through smell. Om Apanaya Svaha. Om Vyanaya Svaha. Om Udanaya Svaha. Om Samanaya Svaha. Om Brahmane Svaha. Now we'll offer and wave the camphor. And after we wave the camphor, we can take the blessing as well. Om Shrim Hrim Klim Glam Gam Ganapati Pravarta Sarvajaname Vishmanya Swaha Ananda Karpuri Rajanam Deepam Darshayami Namaha Om Rajati Rajai Pratikitahine Namo Brahma Shravanaya Gurume Same Kaman Kam Kamaya Mahyam Kameshwaro Vai Shravano Dadatu Kuberaya Vishravanaya Maharaja Yanamaha. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Show to everyone. So now we'll offer Sandal Pada. Ka'ilarim, Asakalarim, Sakalarim, Gandham Samarpayami Namaha. Kumkum. Ka'ilarim, Asakalarim, Sakalarim, Haridra Kumkumani Samarpayami Namaha. Next, flowers. Ka'ilarim, Asakalarim, Sakalarim, Pushpani Pujyami Namaha. Next, we offer Dupam. And we ring the bell. Ka'ilarim, Hasakahalarim, Sakalarim, Dupam Agrapayami Namaha. Om Durasti Durbantam Durvatam Yo Asman, Durvatitam Durvayam Karam Durvamatvam, Dupam Agrapayami Namaha. Next, again, we can all show Deepamudra, Bhava Deepam to Devi. Ka'ilarim, Hasakalarim, Sakalarim, Deepam Darshayami Namaha. Om Ayurdehi Dhanam Dehi Vidyam Dehi Maheshwari Smastam Kalam Dehi Dehi Me Parameshwari Deepam Darshayami Namaha. Perfect. Now we'll offer the Naivedyam for the goddess. If you want. ईररीं हसकालरीं सकलरीं नैवेद्यं निवेदयामि नमः ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् परोरसि साधुम् आप्तोरसमितं ब्रह्मभूर्भुवस्सुरो देवसत्प्रस्वामृतमस्तु अमृतवस्तरणमसि सत्यं तर्तेन प्रसिञ्छामि. Now we can all offer following the hand actions of Varshniyama, covering with our left hand our mouth and nose. Om Pranaya Svaha, Om Apanaya Svaha, Om Vyanaya Svaha, Om Udanaya Svaha, Om Samanaya Svaha, Om Brahmane Svaha. Perfect. Now we wipe the hand for. Ilarim, Hasakalarim, Sakalarim, Anand Kalpur Nirajana Deepam Darshayami Namaha. Om Rajati Prasaya Sane Namo Vayam Ishravanaय Gurumehe Kame Kaman Kam Kamay Mutyam Kameshvaro Ishravano Dharatu Kuberaya Ishravanaya Maharajaya Namaha. Perfect. Now everybody can take. And that concludes the Pancha ritual for Ganapati and the Devi. We will now move on to the main event, which will be stories accompanied by bhajans. Please give us a moment as we prepare for this.
Sai Ram and Sri Matre Namaha to all. In our first story session on day 2, it was explained that the festival of Navratri Sai Ram and Sri Matre Namaha to all. In our first story session on day 2, it was explained that the festival of Navratri is divided into 3 parts, with the first 3 days dedicated to the goddess in the form of Durga, the second 3 days Lakshmi, and the last 3 days Saraswati. Sai Baba says the Supreme Shakti manifests herself in the form of Durga, Lakshmi, and Saraswati. Durga grants to us energy, physical, mental, and spiritual. Lakshmi bestows on us wealth of many kinds, not just money, but intellectual wealth, the wealth of character and others. Even health is a kind of wealth. She grants untold riches to us. And Saraswati bestows intelligence, the capacity for intellectual inquiry, and the power of discrimination on us. The Navratri festival is celebrated in order to proclaim the power of the goddess to the world. Hence, on day 2, we heard the greatness of goddess Durga and how she vanquished the great demon Mahisasura. We also explored how Mahisasura exists in all of us as the ego and how we can eventually overcome our ego by using the net of Namasmarana, the recitation of the Lord's name, so that Goddess Durga may be able to vanquish our egos using her sword of discrimination. Discrimination in this sense, meaning intellectual inquiry, which separates unreality from reality. On day 4, we basked in the glory of Goddess Mahalakshmi as we listened to how she emerged from the vast ocean of milk when the Samudra Manthan, the churning of the ocean of milk, took place. We saw how the ego of Indra eventually resulted in Mahalakshmi being casted out of his heart, culminating in the loss of his vitality and possessions, and how Samudra Manthan is an episode which symbolizes how we must churn the ocean of our own hearts to cultivate detachment and eventually be merged in divine bliss so that we are able to realize that Mahalakshmi is seated in both our hearts and the hearts of others. Certainly, if we fully dedicate our lives to the Mother, Goddess Lakshmi, who is the provider of both spiritual and material wealth, will take care of us in both regards. We will now have a Puja.
जय दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती साई जगन्माता दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती साई जगन्माता जय दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती साई जगन्माता दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती साई जगन्माता साई जगन्माता हमारी जगन्माता साई जगन्माता हमारी जगन्माता साई जगन्माता मां साई जगन्माता साई जगन्माता साई जगन्माता साई जगन्माता मां साई जगन्माता साई जगन्माता साई जगन्माता साई जगन्माता मां साई जगन्माता साई जगन्माता जय जगदा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती साई जगन्माता दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती साई जगन्माता साई जगन्माता मां साई जगन्माता साई जगन्माता साई जगन्माता साई जगन्माता मां साई जगन्माता साई जगन्माता साई जगन्माता साई जगन्माता मां साई जगन्माता साई जगन्माता साई जगन्माता जय दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती साई जगन्माता.
Today, we will hear the legend of how Goddess Saraswati got back the life, giving Somras from the Gandharvas without a war. In the story of Mahalakshmi, we heard about how the demons and gods worked together to obtain Amrita, the nectar of life, as they had been cursed by sage Durvasa to be afflicted with age and greyness. Apart from this, there was another plant that the Devas treasured. It was called Somra and like Amrita. It is believed that its invigorating sap makes Devas immortal. The Devas treasured this plant so much so they kept it quietly hidden, assigning the Gandharvas, demigods, who are believed to have sprung from the fragrance of flowers, as strict guards to watch over it. In particular, a Gandharva by the name of Vishwavasu was given the responsibility, and he performed his duty very well, without fail. As a result, the Devas had great trust in him and cultivated a great friendship with all of the Gandharvas. However, as time went by and he spent day in and day out guarding the plant, he could not help but become curious about it. There are so many plants which exist in all the worlds. Just how precious could this plant be, he thought. His Gandharva friends too, having heard of the Somra plant's value and abilities, kept asking him about it. What does it look like? How does it taste? Have you ever felt it? But as Vishwavasu only guarded the door to the Somra, he had never laid his eyes upon the plant, let alone touched it. So as days passed, Vishwavasu could not contain his curiosity, and one day decided to steal it. He thought to himself, I'm guarding this plant every day. Why should I not see it? I've performed my duty so well over all these years. Surely I have earned the right to consume it. Isn't it such a funny thought? By Vishwavasu's standards, he became a thief because he was doing such a good job keeping other thieves out. We can all see his logic is flawed. Just because you may be excelling at one job, that does not mean that the rules of dharma, right conduct, do not apply to you. Instead, we should remain ever humble and offer the fruits of all our actions to the Mother without any expectation for something in return. We should not enact a certain duty or favor while thinking that if I do this, they will give me this, or I will obtain this. Any action we do should be done with purity in thought, word, or deed. If there is anything we could seek, it should be the grace of the divine, and our reward should be the opportunity to provide and render service to someone. Remember, all are God, from the tiniest ant to the largest elephant. When we help and support others, then it is the same as if we were rendering service and sadhana to the Mother herself. To assist us in cultivating this sort of bhavam or feeling towards the service or actions that we do, we can meditate and report Mother Saraswati. Mother Saraswati is also known as the goddess of wisdom. However, she doesn't just provide worldly knowledge, but to those who earnestly seek her lotus feet, she bestows on them spiritual knowledge, which assists one to separate reality from unreality and be able to see everything as a spark of the divine flame. If we meditate on Mother Saraswati before undertaking any action, then she will slowly encourage us towards detachment so that we can cultivate divine bliss, so that we are able to realize that Mahalakshmi, sorry, so that we can cultivate selflessness, whereby we are able to recognize the God that exists within us, exists in all of creation. We now have a bhajan. So, deciding to steal Sombra, one day, when entering the place where the immortality granting plant was kept, Vishwavasu threw open the doors which he was meant to guard, snatched the Somra, and hastily ran away to the place where all of the Gandharvas stayed, and he hid the plant away so the Devas would not be able to find it. The Devas who trusted Vishwavasu were thrown off by his act of thievery, and as more and more Devas came to know of what had occurred, there was a complete pandemonium. The Devas were all angry at Vishwavasu for betraying their trust and friendship. Overcome by rage, some Devas prepared to take the Gandharvas to war in order to reclaim their property. Some polished their armor, while some sharpened their weapons. Among all this uproar, suddenly a bright light, so bright that it blinded the sun god himself, appeared, and a great wave of peace entered all of the Devas. Seated on a swan as white as snow appeared goddess Saraswati. She was radiating such peaceful effulgence in all the directions that all the Devas who were wielding their weapons immediately dropped them to the ground without a thought. We have a Puja.
Saraswati Namastambham Varade Kamarupani Vidyarambam करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा।
How beautiful Mother Saraswati looked. She was adorning a silky white sari, decorated with patterned jewels, as if all the galaxies in the universe were printed on it. The four-armed goddess was holding a veena with two of her hands, a pearl rosary in another, and a book in her fourth hand. She had witnessed all that had happened and had come down from her abode in Brahmaloka to assist the devas.
सुन्दरवदनी सुगुणमनोहरी सुन्दरवदनी मन्दहासमुख शशिवदनी
मन्दहासमुख शशिवदनी
मन्दहासमुख शशिवदनी
मन्दहासमुख शशिवदनी
सुन्दरवदनी सुगुणमनोहरी चन्दन कुङ्कुम अलङ्कृतवदनी चन्दन कुङ्कुम अलङ्कृतवदनी साई महेश्वरी राजराजेश्वरी साई महेश्वरी राजराजेश्वरी सुन्दरवदनी सुगुणमनोहरी मन्दहासमुख शशिवदनी सुन्दरवदनी सुगुणमनोहरी चन्दन कुङ्कुम अलङ्कृतवदनी
Mother Saraswati spoke to the Devas softly and with tender speech. She said, "For so many years you have cultivated a friendship with the Gandharvas, each enjoying others' company. There is still an opportunity to mend what has been broken. However, if you continue on this path of war and violence, then all will be lost." The Devas could not understand the goddess, for the Gandharvas had stolen from them. In their eyes, the Devas had no reason to mend their friendship. So they asked the mother, "But mother, the Gandharvas are thieves. They stole what was not theirs, and that too from a close friend. What other path do we have left to take?" The mother replied, "In any decision that you take, there is always a dharmic or adharmic choice you can make. Just because the Gandharvas engaged in the adharmic act of stealing does not give you the permission to do the same and inflict violence and pain upon them." How sweet are the words of the goddess. Listen. It is just as Satya Sai Baba says, when you point one finger at others' faults, there are four fingers pointing right back at you. Before we examine and nitpick on what we perceive to be the shortcoming of others, we should look within ourselves and always strive for self-improvement and transformation. Do you all remember the story of how Lord Krishna summoned Yudhishthira and Duryodhana and asked each of them to find one bad person and one good person in all of the kingdom respectively? Yudhishthira came back and expressed that he had not found one bad person in the kingdom. "All are good, only I am bad," he said. Conversely, Duryodhana returned to Krishna and pronounced that all in the kingdom were bad and only he was good. In the same way, the faults we see in others are only a reflection of our blindness towards our own shortcomings. In the same way, the Devas cursed the Gandharvas for stealing and engaging in improper conduct. At the drop of a hat, they were prepared to engage them in violence, and the goddess did not allow them to overlook this. The Devas, unsure of what to do next, they pleaded with the goddess, "Oh, Mother Saraswati, then what should we do? We must reclaim the Somra plant in order to preserve our vitality." The goddess listened to them and said, "Do not worry, my children, for I appeared here in order to help you. Stay here. I will go and recover the Somra plant without having to touch even a single weapon." The Bhajan.
Suryadatinaashini Durga Jai Jai. Kumara Bhaktamani Jai Jai. Kumara Bhaktamani Jai Jai. Kumara Bhaktamani Jai Jai. Sureshwari Bhavani Jai Jai. Bhuvaneshwari Bhavani Jai Jai. Suryadatinaashini Durga Jai Jai. Suryadatinaashini Durga Jai Jai. Jnanavinaashini Bhagi Jai Jai. Bhavani Jai Jai. Kumara Bhaktamani Jai Jai. Rindidididayini Durga Jai Jai. Rindidididayini Jai Jai. Aradhinashini Kali Jai Jai. Suryadatinaashini Durga Jai Jai. Aradhinashini Kali Jai Jai. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Hare Krishna Hare Ram Radhe Govinda. Hare Krishna Hare Ram Radhe Govinda. Suryadatinaashini Durga Jai Jai. Aradhinashini Kali Jai Jai. Suryadatinaashini Durga Jai Jai. Aradhinashini Kali Jai Jai.
The goddess then made her way to the garden of the Gandharvas, and she began to create beautiful music with her veena. Her hands glided effortlessly across the instrument's strings as she held a sweet smile on her charming face. She played many enchanting tunes and ragas, each dancing on top of the other in harmony. Her breathtaking music permeated the garden, and as if in a trance, all the Gandharvas approached her. She had never heard of such mind-capturing music before. They had never heard of such a mind-capturing music before and were completely mesmerized. Such bliss entered their bodies and hearts as they listened to the loving mother play divine tunes on her veena. We're going to have a bhajan.
मैया मोरे मंगल दर्शन दीजिए मैया मोरे मंगल दर्शन मोरे मंगल दर्शन दीजिए मैया मोरे मंगल दर्शन दीजिए हरे भाव में दर्शन लागे भाई भरोसा भजते माहो मैया मोरे मंगल दर्शन दीजिए मैया मोरे मंगल दर्शन दीजिए मंगल दर्शन दीजिए मैया मोरे मंगल दर्शन दीजिए मैया मोरे मंगल दर्शन दीजिए तेरा प्रेम बसे अंग अंग में
Then abruptly the divine goddess stopped playing the veena, and silence received the air. It made the Gandharvas feel as if they had lost all joy and bliss. Looking at the mother with a mixture of awe and disappointment, they asked why she stopped playing and if she could also kindly teach them music. The goddess looked at the Gandharvas and said, I can teach you how to play such music. However, I have one condition. The Gandharvas, eager to hear the mother play again, proclaimed that they would give anything to the goddess to be able to hear her divine melodies. Pleased, the mother asked for the somra plant. The Gandharvas gave it to her without an ounce of hesitation. And so she kept her promise to both the Devas by returning to them the somra plant without engaging in any violence, as well as the Gandharvas in teaching them the art of music. Henceforth, the Gandharvas became known as the celestial musicians, and their friendship with the Devas was restored as they realized their mistake and asked for forgiveness. Thus is the story of how Mother Saraswati reclaimed the Somra plant from the Gandharvas without a war. This story Just like the story shared about Mahalakshmi and Durga Devi has a significant inner meaning. Saraswati exists in all of us and resides in our tongue as the goddess of speech. She also cultivates our intellect so that we may not be swayed to the whims of our monkey mind. When the Devas found out Vishwavashu had stolen from them, their anger was uncontrollable. They could not think straight and forgot all about dharma, instead choosing violence. In the same way, when we experience anger, we often let it control us and our actions. By doing so, we often end up speaking harsh words and taking harsh actions. Sometimes the result of our anger could be something irreversible, perhaps a lost friendship or family member. However, if we can just simply remember to faithfully take the name of Goddess Saraswati whenever we feel a surge of anger coming, then just as she spread waves of peace on the unsettled devas, she will do the same for us. Playing the soft notes of the veena, she will enter our minds and hearts and quell any disturbances. She will then encourage us to use our intellect to think of a wiser way to address whatever issue is present. And the solution she will provide will be one suffused with love and rooted in dharma. Mother Saraswati did not have to point out the Gandharva's mistake to them. However, by dealing with the issue in a grounded and loving manner, the Gandharvas were able to realize this for themselves and apologize to the Devas. The Devas, by accepting this apology, teach us the principle of forgiving. We should not let petty anger or resentment control us. As Sai Baba says, we are all embodiments of strength. Therefore, in times of despair, we should be filled with a feeling of forbearance and be ready to forgive and forget. This quality of Kshama, forgiveness, is the greatest power for a human being. If one loses this quality, they become demonic. Kshama is Satyam, truth. Kshama is Dharma, virtue. Kshama is Ahimsa, non-violence. Kshama is Yajna, sacrifice. Kshama is Santushta, happiness. Kshama is Daya, compassion. Kshama is everything in the world. Thus concludes the story of Mother Saraswati on day 7. We will now have a final bhajan before preparing for Aarati. Loving Sai Rams and Sri Matre Namaha.
भागोते में भूले आओ, भागोते में भूले आओ, फूलों का मैं हार बनाऊं, जंगल से मैं पहले आओ, जंगल से मैं पहले आओ, पेड़ों का मैं भोग लगाऊं, जोड़ी दी जोड़ी We can have another bhajan if anyone else wants to sing. So we just keeping your mic on. One more, yeah.
अब तो ले लो ना खबरिया जग जननी,
अब तो ले लो ना खबरिया जग जननी,
लो ना खबरिया जग जननी,
अब तो ले लो ना खबरिया जग जननी,
जग जननी
जग जननी मैया दुख हरेनी, अब तो ले लो ना खबरिया जग जननी, अब तो ले लो ना खबरिया जग जननी. लाल चोला लाल चुनरिया लाल मात की बिंदी, लाल चोला लाल चुनरिया लाल मात की बिंदी, भगत से हिंदी पंजाबी बंगाली और सिंधी, अब तो ले लो ना खबरिया जग जननी, अब तो ले लो ना खबरिया जग जननी, जग जननी मैया दुख हरनी, ले लो ना खबरिया जग जननी, अब तो ले लो ना खबरिया जग जननी. पर हरियर पत्ता ऊपर तोता उड़े। हरा पीपा हरियर पत्ता ऊपर तोता बोले। हरी हाथ पे पहन चूड़िया के मोर बनवा डोले। अब तो ले लो ना खबरिया जग जननी। अब तो ले लो ना खबरिया जग जननी। जग जननी मैया दुखहरनी। अब तो ले लो ना खबरिया जग जननी। तू ही अम्बे तू जगदम्बे तू ही माता काली। तू ही अम्बे तू जगदम्बे तू ही माता काली। भवन से ही चार तरफ से शेर खड़े रखवाले। अब तो ले लो ना खबरिया जग जननी। अब तो ले लो ना खबरिया जग जननी। जग जननी मैया दुखहरनी। अब तो ले लो ना खबरिया जग जननी। ले लो ना खबरिया जग जननी। अब तो ले लो ना खबरिया जग जननी।
बाबा तेरी महिमा
Thank you all for such beautiful bhajans. If you could now please give us a short moment, we will prepare for Aarti and be right with you. गौरी मैया जय श्यामा गौरी तुम गोद के दिन जावे मैया जी को नित्य दिन जावे हरि ब्रह्मा जी गरी ओम जय अम्बे गौरी मारती दूर निराय ती को विधमत को मैया ती को विधमत को जगत से डोलेना जगत से डोलेना चंद्रनयनी को ओम जय अम्बे गौरी अनंत समान नारेव रातांबर राजे मैया रातांबर राजे रक्त पुष्प गणमाला कंठन बरसाए ओम जय अम्बे गौरी हरिवान रान खड़न का परधारी भैया खड़न का परधारी सुने नर मुनि जन सेवक सुने नर मुनि जन सेवक दिन के रुंगहारी ओम जय अम्बे गौरी चुंबरी चुंबरी लाए Gauri, Karan Kundal Gopi, Asane Moti, Mayana Sane Moti. Koti ka Chandra Divakar, Koti ka Chandra Divakar, Jnana Sama Jyoti, Om Jai Ambe Gauri, Chandra Kundalan Hare, Shonita Bijare, Maya Shonita Bijare. Madhu ke tab no mare, Madhu ke tab no mare, Tumhara rang nare, Om Jai Ambe Gauri. Brahmani Rudrani, Tum Samlarani, Jaya Tum Samlarani. Agamani Samlarani, Agamani Samlarani, Tum Samlarani, Om Jai Ambe Gauri. Om Jai Yogi Rani, Jagata Bhairo, Ayani Jagata Bhairo. Bhagat Taram Ganga, Bhagat Taram Ganga, Aure Bhagat Yamru, Om Jai Ambe Gauri. Tumhari Jagati Mata, Tumhari ho Bharta, Ayya Tumhari ho Bharta. Bharta Dukha Harta, Sampati Bharta, Om Jai Ambe Gauri. Saraswati Gauri, Saraswati, Jaya Saraswati. Om Jai Ambe Gauri. Kanchan Thale Viraja, Agar Kabul Badi, Maya Agar Kabul Badi. Shri Bharati Virajat, Gopi Ranjani, Om Jai Ambe Gauri. Shri Ambe Devi Bharat, Jo Koi Kar Paave, Maya Jo Koi Kar Paave. Saraswati Shivananda Swami, Saraswati Shivananda Swami, Sula Sampati Gaave, Om Jai Ambe Gauri. Jai Ambe Gauri, Jaya Jai Gauri. Jaya Diswanita Dina Gavat, Jaya Diswanita Dina Gavat, Hari Samhati Bari, Om Jai Ambe Gauri. Now we will begin to do Sayana-Seva, just putting Kameshwar and Kameshri to sleep with a song of lullaby. As we do that, one by one, everyone can come. They can come first a lullaby as well, and swing the advance to nice sweet sleep. And then you can all come, perhaps Auntie, do you want to come this way so that way people don't come by the wire side? Yep. And you can all come around. You just need that, there's a wire. No need to rush. Whenever you get the chance to begin. And if you know the song, then you can feel free to join in as well. Janani Sada Sai Shubha Janani Sada Sai Shubha Jagatkarini Paripurani Sai Parijanani Jagatkarini Paripurani Sai Parijanani Satyasvarupini Janani Satyasvarupini Janani Dharma Samvardhini Janani Dharma Samvardhini Janani Shanta Swarupini Janani Shanta Swarupini Janani Sai Prema Pradayini Sai Prema Pradayini Janani Sai Shubha Janani Paripurani Ishwari Satyaswarupini Janani Dharma Samvardhini Janani Shanta Swarupini Janani Shanta Swarupini Janani Sai Prema Pradayini Sai Prema Pradayini Sai Sura Nidrarupena Sanstita Namastasya 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 Namo Namah Sakalari Kaeirani Hasakalari Sakalari Kaeirani Hasakalari Sakalari O Lord, the tasks of this day, the burden I placed on you this morning, are over. It was you who made me walk and talk and think and act. I therefore place at thy divine lotus feet all my words, all my thoughts, and all my deeds. My task is done. Receive me. I am coming back to you. न्यूनानि चातिरिक्तानि क्षमस्व साईश्वरा अपराधसहस्राणि दुरन्तहरणिशं मया दास्यो यमति मामातः क्षमस्व साईश्वरा अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्याभावेन रक्ष रक्ष साईश्वरा हरिः ओं तत्सत् श्री साईश्वर अर्पणमस्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु Peace, peace, peace on earth. Peace, peace, for all the universe, for all the universe, for all the universe. Jai Bhagavan Shri Satti Sai Baba Ji ki Jai. Jai Baba Shri 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 Mahatripura Sundari Devi ki Jai. Jai Guru Vidyadayini Mata Saraswati Ji ki Jai. This concludes the program for Navratri evening session number 7. We hope you all enjoyed as much as we all did. We thank you again for your attendance, both physically and virtually. Tomorrow, starting at 8:30 a.m., we will have Amma's Abhishekam and Sri Suddha Upacara Puja. For anyone who would like to join in, you're most welcome to do so. We give the directions as we practice the puja, so you can also do it to your devi or any murti you like at home. In the evening, we will be having the Lika Sasranama Homa. It is Navami in terms of the Hindu calendar. So for those who would like to follow on at home and offer petals to the deity, offer akshata to the deity, or whatever they like, they can do so as well. And that will start at 6:30 p.m. tomorrow evening. We thank you all again for attending.